What's going on, guys? It's Mirwin. Today I'm going to show you how I made the beat for my song Throw Stones. So if you guys haven't been watching the channel, we have our series Deconstructed, inspired by Genius, where I show you guys how I made the beat for all the music I make. Today we're going to be talking about my song Throw Stones. This is the second single for my album Strangers in the Dark. If you haven't listened to this song yet, definitely encourage you to check that out. We got the link in the description. Otherwise, we're just going to get straight into it today. If you guys have been watching any of the past Dissects or Deconstructeds, you've probably heard me talk about how for this album I really wanted to have a really hip-hop inspired album sonically, just, with chopping samples, the kind of inspired by like a lot of the artists I really look up to, like Kendrick and J. Cole, Kanye, Drake, all those people. So for this album, all the songs have been produced using samples through TRYIN. So we'll just get straight into it today. Definitely encourage you to check out TRYIN if you make music. They got a lot of great stuff. Love digging through there. So for this song, this is also the second beat that I made for this album, Strangers in the Dark. So this song, when I heard it on TRYIN, I thought it was just a great song, period. Definitely something that, like just sonically and the artist's voice and all that stuff. I really just love the song, period. I thought it'd be really cool just to try and make a beat with it. And, one cool thing about TRYIN is they have like a built-in like sample modulation thing, so you can kind of get a feel for maybe how you would flip it. So like you can pitch it up, slow it down, speed it up. You can put drums over it. You can loop certain sections just to see. If they're watching this, I think they should also have a chop section where you could like figure out a way to chop it in there and just demo that. I think that'd be sick. So I ended up, messing around with it, and I thought it was really cool. I had some ideas for it. So this was the second beat I made for this album. We'll just get straight into it here. So something that I really liked with this sample also was similar to Better Things. It also had the stems, so I was able to really play around with how I wanted the sample to progress, and how I wanted the song to progress, and be able to take away, add things, mess with different stuff. Originally, when I was making this and like had the idea for the beat, I was initially gonna pitch this sample up. But what I ended up doing was just going with the original BPM, original key. I think it just made it a little simpler for this beat, just to, lock in and, work with the bass and different things like that. So we're just going to play it for you here. We'll just do the verse sample, and I'll just kind of talk about how I went about finding the loops and sections for the sample.
This face mask won't filter the pain.
So yeah, something I love about this sample, just really chill, really laid back. I like some lo-fi, like Mac Miller a little bit. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Money Trees a little bit, Beach House, if you know both of those artists, or the song. So I really like that. So really I thought I just had a really cool, like kind of more chill, relaxed vibe. And as far as the sampling goes, so I have like a lot of different sections here. For the first part here, we got the guitar that I use for the first hook, where I do like my Throw Stones, like kind of vocal chop. Then we have the second section for the verse, and then, well, technically we have two sections, second referring to the hook section. So we have this part where the vocals come in and the piano comes in. And I took a section from a different part of the song, kind of again similar to the Better Things beat, where I took a section from a different part of the song and kind of squished it together, just to again keep it interesting. And the thing I liked about this second section here is I think it just kind of has a little more energy in it than the section before it, so it just kind of naturally brings more energy to the beat. Then again, second hook, I'm just taking away, adding things. We have just the piano for the hook. And then for the final part here is this section in the original song where there's a saxophone. I thought it was really cool. So it has a saxophone in it, and I thought it just, brought, again, some fresh energy to the sample, and, just made the song progress really well. So we have this section here where the saxophone comes in, and I just looped that for the second verse. So that's basically it for the sample. A lot of different sections, but it just kind of, all comes together, kind of cohesive, and it works. So we'll move on to the drums here. So for the drums, there's kind of a lot going on again. For this one, I like a lot of percussion in my drums. We'll just start out with the snare again. We'll start with these percussion loops here. So I have this first loop here, which is just kind of like a bongo percussion loop. I'll play you that. So that is just, I just processing wise, I just EQ'd that, just kind of made it sit in the background a little bit. But again, just kind of fills the frequencies up and, gives it more energy. Another percussion loop I used here is this hat loop. I believe I got this one off of Splice. I could be wrong, but all I did was EQ and I added Lil Magma on it, which is just a saturation plugin. And then that's all I did for this one. Something I liked a lot about that hi-hat loop is just it had a nice, really driving energy to it. Again, it's a chill, the sample's kind of chill, laid back, but I don't want everything to be laid back. I want there to still be energy, keep you engaged. So I thought it really had some good energy. We'll listen to the snares here. So I layered a bunch of stuff here. So we have this snare from a Brockhampton inspired drum kit. I'm actually wearing some of their merch right now. And then I also did this cross sticks one shot. And I just did saturation and EQ on both of those, and I layered them for the main snare here. So I kind of like, that one just kind of feels kind of more like a natural drum kit snare. Had some nice kind of crunch to it, but pretty clean. I like how it sounded. Moving on then here to some of the more percussion. We got some more hi-hats. It's just kind of a hi-hat little run I have in there. So these are just some pitched up hi-hats, just again a little accent. We'll look at some of the more like ear candy I got going here. I think we got more hi-hats down here at the bottom. This is just a straight kind of two-step hi-hat. I messed with the velocities to make it feel a little more organic and real, but we'll play those for you. The other thing I did with those hi-hats as well is I threw a ring shifter on it, which again is something I really love doing with my hi-hats. I've done it on a bunch of other beats and other songs. So it messes with the pitch and the pan. So again, just kind of makes it feel more lively and, messes with the mix a little bit. So, it's not all just straight down the middle. So I think I always like that. We'll look at some of the other, we got an open hat here. We'll play you that. And then we got some percussion here that is layered with the snare as well, just to keep it fresh. So this is just like a kind of a rim shot with some echo and EQ on it, and then also a little bit of reverb on it. And then I have that same hit also at the end of like the drum like phrase, and then it's got just more echo and delay on it. Yeah, so you can hear that just a little bit bigger. Again, just something to keep it interesting. I always like kind of ending my drum phrasing with like some kind of extra ear candy just to like, keep it interesting. And then I think the last thing besides the kick here, if I'm looking right, we got this other little like rim stick kind of perk, kind of like a clave or something like that. And I think I said that right. And then we just left it dry. So, by itself sounds maybe a little weird, but with the rest of the drums, you get a little bit more bounce going through it. Just keep it fresh. And then we'll do the kick here. For this kick, we got EQ, and then Shane Lance is my engineer. He mixed this, so I didn't put a compressor on this, but I'm sure he did. Shout out to Shane. He kills it every single time for me. He actually mixed and mastered this entire album, so when it comes out, you guys make sure to show him some love. We'll play, guys, the kick here. Something I like about this kick as opposed to some of the other kicks I've used, this one, it feels a little more warmer and analog. It's got like, you can kind of hear it at the tail end of the kick hit. There's like almost like a vinyl crackle. It might actually be a vinyl crackle, but I like it just because it fits, I think, kind of that warmth of the song, and kind of that more old school, laid back a little bit, just kind of the vibe. So it fits really well. And then the last thing here is going to be the 808 in the bass, and then that is basically it for this beat. So for the 808, I used the Rumble 808 from a Cymatics drum kit. Also check them out a lot. They got a lot of great resources. As far as what processing I did, I just hit EQ and distortion on it. And then, this beat, like I've mentioned in other videos, took me a little longer to, figure out the right notes for the bass. Since one of the reasons I ended up keeping the sample in the original key is it made it real easy for me to actually find those notes. I think I tried pitching it up and getting the notes, and it just, didn't quite sound how I wanted to, so I'm just going with the original key, and I love how the song turned out. So we'll play, guys, the bass here. And something I really like about the 808 pattern I have for this song is it kind of follows a little bit more of like a live bass guitar pattern. So that it's not, a lot of 808 patterns in hip hop today are very repetitive, where sometimes it's just even one note. But a lot of times they aren't really going all over the place too much. Most of the time it's like, 3, 4, maybe even 5 notes. Just stays pretty consistent, so the listener knows what to expect, which I understand and I've done before. But something I like with this one is I followed what the original song did with their bass, which was, I believe, a bass guitar. So you kind of get that musicality of a bass guitar, but with the sound of an 808. So, there's a lot of movement in the notes and just the way the progression is, where it's not just like the same rhythm all the time. And then also, just kind of, it's not also a traditional rhythm for an 808, or at least more of a mainstream rhythm for an 808, where it's just kind of like boom, 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 just kind of like what you would expect. So I think it was cool just to be able to take that sound and maybe apply it to a different instrument. So I think that was really dope. That's basically it for this beat here. One thing that I noticed here too that I'll throw in that I just think is a really cool detail, I also threw in, you can hear it at the beginning and in the hooks, I threw in this, I really like bringing in ambience into my beats. Just, it makes it feel kind of more grounded in reality. So the night I made this beat, I was staying up late, after work I had to get up early. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stay up late and make this beat. If you watch the dissect for this song, I believe I mentioned that a little bit. But this recording here is a real recording of birds outside my apartment. I kind of live where there's like some trees and, we're not like in a park, but like there's some, nature around. So there were like, the birds were going crazy. I was like hearing them from my window. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go out. I just recorded it on my phone, threw it in there. I thought it really, kind of fit the vibe. So just kind of a cool detail. That being said, we'll just kind of play, guys, the instrumental here, and then that's it for this one. Well, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys haven't already listened to this song, we got a link in the description if you're interested. Definitely encourage you guys to check that out, and appreciate anyone who listens to my music. It means a lot to me. That's going to be all for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.